So I'm watching this thing on the Matrix, and I saw the Matrix originally in theaters. I've seen this movie many times. And but something hit me in a way that was very different than I've ever really like heard it before. So in the Matrix, the Oracle says to Neo, the one, she says, "We can never see past the choices we don't understand." And normally, I've always interpreted that in context of the movie and the character, that the character is going to make a choice that he doesn't understand, and so he can't see the future past that. And I don't know what it was about yesterday, but it suddenly dawned on me how so much of the trauma that I see that victims of abuse experience is the fact that it is someone they love that's treating them in a way that they are completely confused by. So when I've talked about this on this, I read it before. Typically, I've talked about how we have an internal model of the world, of the universe, of people, and that part of the abuse process is that we construct a model of a person that's incomplete or incorrect. And when they start to abuse us, we're confused because we have this model that is not working anymore because it's not accurately predicting what this person is likely to do. So suddenly they're acting in ways that make no sense and that are very hurtful. And so, we'll come back to it and like, what's wrong here? And then finally, at some point, the victim of abuse goes, "Oh, you aren't who I thought you were. This situation isn't what I thought it was. Love isn't even what I thought it was. I now have to scrap this whole thing and rebuild my model of this person, the situation, the world, whatever." Um, However, if you are with a person and you're kind of in that beginning stage where stuff is starting to seem weird, and they're starting to act in ways that aren't okay, and you keep trying to like communicate with them because that's all of the relationship information says: communicate more, communicate better, go to therapy. Which is all absolutely the wrong thing if you're in an abuse dynamic. That's absolutely will make it worse, which is, hilarious. So the problem in an abuse dynamic is not communication. And going to a therapist with an abuser only gives them a better avenue to abuse you mentally, psychologically, emotionally. So wrong. Um, Relationship advice is always predicated on the idea that you're dealing with relatively healthy people and relatively healthy dynamics. That you and this other person have a shared foundation of reality. Which, when you're in an abuse dynamic, so much is built on the fantasy of who you want this person to be, or their fantasy of who they want to be or be seen as. So we build this incomplete, incorrect, wrong model of this other person. And then when they start to act in ways that aren't in alignment with the model that we have of who we believe them to be, we get very confused. And so a lot of the trauma, like if some rando on the street comes up to you and beats you up and takes your money, um, I mean, it's awful, and you might have some PTSD from that, but, you know, where you're probably gonna get stuck is maybe, "Why me? Why did that person pick me?" So the trauma stuckness is gonna be around the thing that you don't understand. So the not understanding part, the piece that's, you know, you can't see past it is maybe the piece of like, why did they pick me? And it's similar in a relationship. You wonder, why are they treating me this way, especially if they seem to move on and then be in a healthy relationship with another person. So it's like, well, why me? Or even when you're first coming to like coalesce the idea that you're in a situation that's wrong somehow, and you're thinking, what's happening here? And it creates and facilitates this very obsessive thinking pattern. And the more obsessive you get in your thinking patterns, the more obsessive your behaviors get, the more out of balance and alignment in terms of your own integrity you get. It's like a hot mess. So I just sort of wanted to put that out there. If you find that you're stuck emotionally, you are trauma stuck, and you can't seem to get past it, if you've established that you have validation that what happened to you was wrong, then the likely reason that you're stuck is that you don't understand why. Why you? Why did they act this way? What's happening here? The why is probably the piece that's keeping you stuck. And a lot of people do research so that they can move on from the why. But I think this is why abusive relationships are so uniquely traumatizing, because it occurs with people that we believe we know and that we love and we believe love us. And so we end up even having to question the foundation of what we believe love to be, and having to reconstruct very intentionally our ideas and models of the world. Anyway, hope this makes sense. I'll talk to you next time.